You stand before the mirror and first, just for a moment, recognize the reflection staring back at you. You feel the stirrings of discomfort, a whisper in your heart saying, "This isn't quite right. I'm not who I want to be." There's power in that admission. It's not weakness to acknowledge that something within you feels off, it's courage. You see, every journey toward transformation begins with that simple, sometimes painful, recognition that who you are today is not who you must remain tomorrow. Think back to a time when you first sensed this gap. Maybe it crept up slowly, a nagging dissatisfaction with your habits, your choices, the tone of your thoughts. Perhaps it struck you all at once like a thunderbolt of realization that things must change. Whatever the moment looked like, honor it. Hold fast to that initial spark of awareness, because it's the lamp that will guide you forward. Without it, you'd never know you need to step out of the place where you've grown comfortable, even if that comfort feels like a cage. Now, let's lean in and truly feel that sensation, the ache of dissatisfaction. You might notice the tightening in your chest when you confront a habit you've tried to break. You might feel the heaviness of regret over words you wished you'd never spoken. You might sense the confusion of dreams you once held dear slipping through your fingers. Name these feelings, bring them from the shadows into the light, for in naming them you rob them of their silent power. They no longer whisper threats unseen, they stand before you tangible and manageable. As you stand with this honest self-assessment, take a deep breath and grant yourself grace. It may surprise you to discover how tenderly you can speak to your own heart. "I see you," you might murmur, "and I know you're capable of more." This is far from self-criticism. It is an act of gentle acknowledgement. It is the moment you become a collaborator with yourself, rather than an adversary. In that shift, you find a sacred space where change can truly begin. Embrace the realization you are neither bound by your past failures nor defined by your present limitations. You are more than the sum of habits you've yet to break or mistakes you've yet to forgive yourself for. Imagine each regret as a pebble you can choose to carry or to set down. Envision yourself gently placing them at your feet, one by one, until your hands, your heart, your mind are free to reach for something new. This admission is the opening chord in the Song of Transformation. It doesn't demand perfection, it simply asks for honesty. Honesty that you've overlooked the quiet voice inside you urging, "Be better. Do better. Live truer to the light within." Perhaps you've tried to silence that voice, drowned it with busyness, or ignored it amid the din of obligations. Today, let us turn down the volume of distraction and listen. As you listen, you may sense fear emerge, fear of change, fear of failure, fear of what others might think. Acknowledge that fear too. Speak to it kindly. "I understand your concern, but I choose courage." Because courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward in spite of fear's trembling presence. You are forging a new self, one brave step at a time. In this moment of honest reckoning, bring to mind someone you admire, someone whose life reflects integrity and passion, whose actions echo authenticity. Let that image inspire you. Know that the qualities you admire most in others can blossom within you. The gap you've acknowledged between who you are and who you aspire to be is not a chasm, but a bridge built one plank at a time through honest intention and deliberate choice. So what does honest intention look like today? It might mean admitting to a friend that you've been struggling with self-doubt. It might mean carving out 5 minutes each morning to sit in stillness to invite clarity into your heart. It might mean writing down a habit you wish to release, whether it's a thought pattern of self-criticism or a routine that no longer serves your highest good. Lay it on the page and watch its hold over you lessen. This is not mere self-help rhetoric. This is an invitation to step into partnership with the deepest parts of yourself. When you admit, "I'm not at peace with this," you build the foundation for transformation. You create the space where light can enter the crevices of your doubts. You plant the seeds that will grow into the new version of you that you long to see. And so I invite you now to hold that mirror again, this time with a soft smile. Look fully without judgment and say aloud the one truth you need to hear: "I am ready." Let these words resonate in every corner of your being. Let them settle into your bones. In that readiness, you open the floodgates of possibility. You don't like yourself? Good. That means you're poised on the brink of becoming someone far greater than you've yet imagined. And that journey begins with honesty about where you stand and a heartfelt of all the embrace of all that you are and all you have yet to become. Let's take that step together. Close your eyes for a moment and allow a picture to form in your mind, a vivid, unmistakable portrait of who you are meant to be. Notice what you're wearing, the way you carry yourself, the calm radiance shining in your eyes. Hear the tone of your voice steady, confident, full of compassion. Feel the energy in your heart as you move through this vision, stepping into each moment with purpose and grace. This isn't a distant dream. It's a living possibility already stirring within you, waiting for your invitation to take shape in the world. When you can see this ideal self clearly, something magical happens. You align your thoughts, your words, your choices with the person you've envisioned. Every decision becomes a brushstroke, coloring in the masterpiece of your life. Without this clear vision, you drift reacting to circumstances, swayed by the opinions of others, settling for less than you deserve. But with it, you chart a course, anchored in your deepest longings and highest aspirations. Begin by giving your future self a name, something that embodies the essence you wish to embrace. Perhaps she is the courageous one, stepping boldly into every challenge. Perhaps he is the compassionate leader, lifting others even as he grows. Naming this version of you breathes life into the vision. It transforms a vague hope into a heartfelt companion on your journey. Now, listen to her speak. What words of encouragement flow from her lips? Maybe she reminds you that setbacks are simply detours on the path to greatness. Maybe he whispers that every small act of kindness expands the borders of your soul. Allow these words to echo in your mind, to lift the fog of uncertainty and illuminate the road ahead. As you hold this image, consider what values anchor her life. What principles guide his choices? Perhaps integrity stands at the center, choosing honesty even when it feels risky. Perhaps generosity glows brightly, offering time and attention without expectation. Write down these values as if you are crafting a constitution for your life, for they will become the compass points you consult when storms arise. Next, imagine a day in the life of your ideal self. See the morning sunlight dancing through the window as you wake with gratitude. Feel the stretch of your body as you move with purpose, whether in prayer, in meditation, in joyful exercise. Notice what you eat, how you interact with those around you, the way you pause to savor simple blessings. A child's laughter, the song of birds, the warmth of a shared smile. Picture the challenges you face, too, and see how she meets them with calm resolve, with eyes fixed on the greater good. Watch him respond not with reactivity, but with reflective intention, listening first, speaking truth with kindness, acting with conviction. In this mental rehearsal, obstacles lose their power. You become the director of your own drama rather than a powerless extra. Bring into focus the relationships that matter most. Visualize the people you love gathered around you, drawn to your light. See yourself giving and receiving love freely, encouraging, empathizing, celebrating one another's victories. Feel the warmth of connection and the strength it lends you. This ideal self doesn't travel alone. She builds a community of encouragement, and in turn is nourished by it. As your vision takes shape, allow yourself to feel the pride of becoming this person. Notice how your posture straightens, your chest lifts. Feel the subtle shift in your vibration as you embody confidence, compassion, and clarity. Let that feeling wash through you until it becomes normal, as natural as breathing. Because it can be. This is not a fantasy, this is a rehearsal for reality. Now open your eyes and carry that vision with you like a lantern. In every moment, ask, what would my ideal self do here? You might find the answer surprises you. Perhaps you've hesitated to speak up in a meeting. Your ideal self would share her insight with courage. Perhaps you've allowed self-doubt to steal your joy. He would remind you of your worth with a gentle affirmation. Each time you consult this inner mentor, you strengthen the pathway between dream and deed. To reinforce this vision, create touchstones throughout your day. Write a brief affirmation on a sticky note and place it where you'll see it first thing in the morning. Record a 2-minute voice memo from the perspective of your future self, offering words of encouragement. Choose a symbol, a small stone, a piece of jewelry, an image that resonates with your vision, and carry it with you as a reminder of who you are becoming. Don't underestimate the power of language here. Frame your goals not as "I want to lose weight" or "I hope to be more patient," but as declarations: "I am strong and vibrant. I respond to challenges with patience and grace." As you speak these truths, your subconscious mind begins to align with them, forging neural pathways that embody each conviction more fully. And when doubt creeps in, when the world tells you that your vision is too big or too bold, remember that every great transformation begins with a single thought. Abraham Lincoln was once dismissed as a backwoods lawyer, yet he rose to lead a nation through its darkest hour. Mother Teresa was told she was too small to make a difference, yet she became a beacon of hope for millions. Your vision may feel audacious, but audacity is the birthplace of miracles. Invite others into your vision too. Share your picture of the ideal self with a trusted friend or mentor. As you articulate your dream, you give it power and hold yourself accountable. When you stumble, they can remind you of the light you're walking toward. In that shared vision, you find strength and solidarity. Remember, this exercise is not a one-time event. Revisit your vision daily as the sunrise greets the earth anew. Each morning, recommit to your chosen path. Each evening, reflect on how closely your actions aligned with your blueprint. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, for every step forward adds up to profound change over time. When you continually envision yourself in this way, you begin to transcend the limits of your current reality. You invite possibilities that once seemed out of reach. You develop a magnetic pull that attracts opportunities, mentors, and resources in harmony with your vision. Doors open not by accident, but in response to the frequency you emit, the confident, compassionate, purpose-driven frequency of your ideal self. So I encourage you now, let your imagination run free. Paint this portrait of the you who stands unwavering in love, fierce in integrity, radiant in hope. Hold it close, breathe it deep, live it boldly. Because when you can see it, you can be it. And every choice you make from this moment on brings that vision closer to waking life. Speak the words now. Even if only in your mind, this is who I am becoming. Feel the truth of them settle into your bones. Let them echo through your days until they shape your reality with the gentle insistence of dawn. You have already begun. You've seen the gap. You've painted the vision. Now let us turn inward and awaken the wellspring of strength that already lives within your own spirit. There is a power in you more ancient than your fears, more faithful than your doubts. It waits quietly beneath the surface like a river hidden underground, eager to burst forth when called. Today, we call it forth together. Feel the gentle beat of your own heartbeat, steady and sure. That pulse is your first companion on this journey, a drum that whispers, I am alive. I am here. I am capable. Meet it with gratitude. Let it remind you that life itself is a gift, and within that gift you hold courage you may not yet have recognized. Courage often arrives disguised as a whisper. You may hear it in the stillness before dawn, when the world is hushed and your soul feels closest to its source. It says, I am with you. And in those two simple words, you find the strength to rise, to face another day, to take the next step, even when the path is uncertain. Each time you answer that whisper, each time you choose to stand instead of hide, you strengthen the muscle of bravery within your heart. And faith, what is faith but the steady hand guiding you across the bridge you cannot see? It's the rooted assurance that even in the valley of shadows you are held. Think of the acorn that trusts beneath the soil, knowing that one day it will become an oak. That trust is faith, and it lives in you. It is the quiet conviction that no setback can silence your promise, no failure can extinguish your spark. Remember a moment when faith carried you through. Perhaps it was a night when doubts swirled storm clouds, and you clung to a single phrase, a prayer whispered in the dark, a truth you refused to let go. In that moment you felt a firmness under your feet where once there was only mud. You remembered an unseen hand upholding you. Hold that memory now, and let it feed your courage today. Resilience is the third pillar of your inner trinity. It is the oak that bends but does not break, the river that finds another way when a rock blocks its course. Life may buffet you with winds of disappointment, loss, or fear, but resilience is the capacity to bend and then to rise again. You have witnessed this in your own story, the time you stumbled, only to find yourself on your feet more determined than before. I want to share with you a story of someone who exemplified this resilient spirit. She was a woman who faced years of uncertainty, doors closing, health faltering, hopes deferred. Yet she woke each morning with a song in her heart, a steadfast belief that grace would meet her in the needful moment. And grace did come, in a word of encouragement from a friend, in a chance encounter that opened a new door, in a sunrise so breathtaking it reminded her why she kept believing. Her life did not unfold without hardship, but because she refused to relinquish hope, she discovered that within every trial lay the seeds of her greatest triumph. That story is not merely history, it is a living invitation to you. When your courage feels faint, remember that you need only whisper to it, rise. When your faith is battered, hold fast to the memory of every moment you have known deliverance. When your resilience is tested, know that each time you rise, you build a refuge of strength that no storm can shake. Activate these inner resources with simple, Daily acts. Begin your morning by placing a hand over your heart and speaking the words, I carry courage. I carry faith. I carry resilience. Breathe these words in until you feel their truth coursing through your veins. Make them the first notes of the song you sing to yourself each day. As you go about your morning, notice small opportunities to practice courage. Perhaps it is sending an honest message to someone you love, even if your heart trembles. Perhaps it is choosing silence over anger in a difficult conversation. These choices may seem small, but each one is a brick in the foundation of a heart that will not be moved. Cultivate your faith by setting aside moments for stillness. You need not spend hours in meditation. Even 2 minutes of quiet can rewrite the patterns of your mind. In those precious moments, breathe deeply and imagine a light, soft, golden filling you from the inside out. Let it carry your worries upward, dispersing them like mist. Feel yourself resting in the arms of something greater than circumstance. Resilience grows when you honor your own needs with kindness. After a long day, give yourself permission to rest, to nourish your body with wholesome food, to reach out for laughter, for a story that warms your soul, to sit in the company of music or scripture or poetry that reminds you of beauty still unbroken. In each act of self-care, resilience deepens, for you demonstrate to yourself that you matter enough to be upheld. As you activate these inner resources, notice how they mingle and strengthen one another. Courage feeds faith. Each courageous step you take reinforces your confidence that you can trust yourself. Faith nurtures resilience. Each time you rest in that unseen support, you find the strength to rise again. And resilience emboldens courage. Each time you stand after a fall, you prove to yourself that fear cannot hold you captive. You may face days when these reserves run low, when you feel depleted, weary, uncertain. In those days, remember community. Others have answered this same call to their inner resources. Reach out. Share a prayer request or a word of encouragement. Let their faith bolster yours, their courage echo in your heart. Their resilience remind you that we all rise and fall together, and together we rise. This activation of inner resources is not a one-time ceremony, but a lifelong practice. It is the art of coming home to yourself again and again, of remembering who you are beneath the noise, beneath the doubt, beneath every limitation you once believed. As you walk this path, you will discover wells of strength you never knew existed, and you will learn to draw from them with grateful confidence. So stand now and place your hand on your heart. Feel that river of life pulsing beneath your fingertips. Whisper your commitment to yourself. I will call forth courage. I will rest in faith. I will rise with resilience. Let those words seal the promise between you and the deeper self you serve. And carry this promise with you, for by living out these inner resources, you become the person you have envisioned, someone who knows her own strength, who rests in divine assurance, who stands unshaken in the face of every storm. Let your spirit rise. You've seen the gap between who you are and who you long to become. You've painted a vivid picture of that ideal self and awakened the wells of courage, faith, and resilience within you. Now it's time to build a bridge that carries you from vision into reality. True change doesn't happen in a single grand gesture. It unfolds in the little moments that accumulate day by day. So let us craft a plan, one that honors the enormity of your dreams while giving you small, tangible steps to follow. Begin by choosing just one area of your life where transformation feels most urgent, a habit you wish to adopt, a fear you yearn to conquer, a pattern of thinking you want to shift. Be specific. Rather than saying, I want to be more organized, name the concrete practice. I will spend 5 minutes each evening writing my to-do list for tomorrow. By narrowing your focus, you give yourself a clear target and prevent overwhelm. Next, break that practice down into its simplest form. 5 minutes of list making requires only pen, paper, and a quiet corner. You don't need to overhaul your entire routine. You only need the dedicated moment. Choose a time that naturally fits into your day, just before dinner, after you brush your teeth, while waiting for your coffee to brew. By attaching the new habit to an existing anchor in your day, you increase the chance you'll actually do it. Now, set yourself up for success by preparing the tools you need. If journaling is your first step, place your notebook on your bedside table, its pages blank and inviting. If affirmations feel right, write a single sentence, something like, I choose courage over comfort today, on a sticky note and place it where you'll see it first thing in the morning. If you'll benefit from mentoring, identify one person whose wisdom you trust and ask them to walk alongside you, even if it's just a weekly 5-minute check-in. With your tools in place and a clear window of time chosen, Give yourself permission to start imperfectly. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Some evenings you may only jot down 2 tasks instead of 5. Some mornings you may forget to speak your affirmation until lunchtime. Celebrate the tiny victories, gladly acknowledge that you showed up, even if it looked different than you'd planned. Each moment of trying is a brick laid in the foundation of your transformation. To keep momentum, track your progress in a simple way. A habit tracker can be as effortless as a row of empty boxes you cross off each day you follow through. Visually seeing the chain of successes grow longer motivates you to keep it unbroken. And when the inevitable day comes when you miss a box, don't let your spirit falter. Instead, draw a new line and pick back up. The goal is consistency over perfection, persistence over shame. Alongside daily habits, weave in weekly reflections. Set aside 10 or 15 minutes at the end of each week to review. In your journal, note what worked and what felt challenging. Ask yourself, where did I feel resistance? What small win gave me the greatest boost? What adjustments could make next week smoother? By pausing to learn from each week, you refine your plan and honor the wisdom that arises from experience. You may also include monthly milestones, larger check-ins that celebrate your progress. Perhaps at the end of 30 days, you treat yourself to a small reward, a favorite meal, a long walk in nature, or a gathering with a friend who cheers you on. These celebrations remind you that you're not on this journey alone. You have allies within and around you who delight in your growth. As you design this growth plan, remember the power of positive reinforcement. Every time you complete your habit, pause for a moment and congratulate yourself. Feel the satisfaction of following through. Let that feeling sink into your bones so that habit and reward become intrinsically linked. Over time, the desire to feel that sense of accomplishment will propel you forward, making the practice its own reward. To rewire thought patterns, pair your actions with new inner dialogue. If you've long believed I'm not disciplined, replace it with I am building new habits one step at a time. Notice when old narratives creep in, when you catch yourself thinking, I always mess up, and gently swap them for statements that affirm your capacity for growth. You might keep a list of these empowering phrases in your journal or record short voice memos on your phone so you can hear these truths throughout your day. Mentoring can accelerate your progress. You don't have to do this alone. Identify someone, an elder, a coach, a friend who reflects the qualities you admire. Invite them into your journey, ask if you can share occasional updates, seek their advice when you feel stuck, lean on their encouragement when you feel discouraged. Their belief in you often becomes the fuel you need to believe in yourself. If a formal mentor isn't available, consider community support. Join a small group online or in person of like-minded individuals pursuing similar goals. Whether it's a book club discussion on personal growth, a challenge group for daily meditation, or a peer accountability circle, the camaraderie the tradition binds you, that transformation is a shared human endeavor. You draw strength from one another's stories, victories, and vulnerabilities. As you implement your plan, honor the unpredictable beauty of life. There will be days when emergencies arise, illness, unexpected work demands, family needs. When that happens, adapt rather than abandon. Shorten your practice. If you only have 2 minutes to journal instead of 10, do the 2. If your mentor check-in needs to shift days, reschedule rather than cancel. Flexibility keeps your plan alive when life stretches you in new directions. Eventually, these small practices will gather momentum. What began as a 5-minute nightly habit may bloom into a ritual-nilling ritual. What began as a simple affirmation may become a full morning meditation. As you grow, adjust your plan to match your expanding capacity. But always, let it remain anchored in simplicity, never adding so many elements that you feel burdened. And listen carefully to the whispers of your own heart. Sometimes the plan needs recalibrating. Maybe affirmations require tweaking to better resonate with your spirit. Perhaps gratitude journaling serves you more profoundly than to-do lists. Be unafraid to experiment. This is your journey. Your map may look different from anyone else's, and that's exactly as it should be. In designing your growth plan, you're not merely creating a checklist. You're crafting a pathway into a life that aligns with your deepest values and highest aspirations. Each small action becomes an affirmation of your commitment to yourself. Each deliberate choice is a vote for the person you are becoming. Over time, these votes accumulate into a verdict that cannot be denied. You have transformed. So take a deep breath now and picture your plan in motion. See yourself gathering your tools, marking off your habit tracker, pausing to celebrate each win. Feel the gentle satisfaction of progress, the quiet hum of purpose each time you act with intention. Know that every moment you invest in yourself ripples outward, strengthening your character, enriching your relationships, and illuminating the world with your shining presence. Embrace this plan, not as a rigid regime, but as a loving agreement between you and your future self. And let each step, no matter how small, draw you closer to the vibrant life you've envisioned. Let's walk this road together. You are not meant to walk this path alone. Though your journey to a new self begins within, it finds its greatest bloom when shared with others who lift you, challenge you, and hold you accountable. Community and support are not optional extras. They are the very soil in which your vision takes root and grows into fullness. Imagine you're standing at the foot of a mountain, eager to climb, but the trail is steep and rocky. You could try to scale it on your own, battling each loose stone and slippery patch. Or you could gather fellow climbers, some ahead to scout the safest route, some beside you to share encouragement, some behind to remind you of how far you've come. Together you move more surely, celebrating each ledge gained and helping one another across every stumbling block. Support takes many forms. Sometimes it's a mentor whose wisdom lights the way, someone who's walked a similar road and can say, "I know what you're facing. Here's how I overcame it." Other times it's a peer group, a circle of hearts committed to growth, sharing both triumphs and struggles. You'll find that honest confession, admitting where you faltered, is not a sign of weakness but of strength. In the safe harbor of community, your vulnerabilities become the threads that bind you closer together. Begin by seeking out those who resonate with your vision. Maybe there's a small gathering at your church or a book study at your community center. Perhaps an online forum or social media group offers fellowship for growth, including prayer partners, accountability check-ins, or simply daily words of encouragement. Don't wait for the perfect circle to materialize. Step forward with the courage to invite others into your inner circle. Ask a friend to meet you weekly for coffee and honest conversation. Reach out to someone whose character you admire and request a brief mentorship. You'll be surprised how willing people are to lend their support when asked. Once you've formed your circle, make your commitments clear. Share your vision of the new self you're becoming and the small steps you're taking. Lay bare your goals, perhaps the habit you're building or the limiting belief you're challenging. By making your intentions public, you enlist the eyes and hearts of your community to cheer you on. They become your witnesses, reminding you of your promise when you feel inclined to step back into old patterns. Accountability partners are a powerful gift. Choose someone you trust to speak the truth with love, someone who will celebrate your wins and gently confront your backslides. Set a regular check-in rhythm, even if it's just a brief text each morning or a 10-minute call once a week. In that rhythm, you find a lifeline. You know that someone else is holding space for your journey, and that knowledge fuels your resolve. Yet support is not only about receiving, it's about giving as well. When you offer encouragement, you deepen your own commitment. As you listen to another's struggles, you remind yourself of the universal nature of growth. As you celebrate their successes, you reinforce the truth that transformation is possible. Community is a two-way street. Every time you extend grace, share insight, offer a prayer for someone else, you anchor your own journey more firmly in shared purpose. Prayer partners, in particular, embody the spiritual dimension of support. There is a sacred power in knowing that someone across town or across the globe is lifting your name before the throne of grace. They intercede when you are weary, celebrate when you are triumphant, and stand in the breach when you face a spiritual assault. To pray for one another is to weave your journeys together, creating a tapestry of faith that no trial can unravel. Don't underestimate the power of simply gathering together. When 2 or 3 come into alignment around a heartfelt intention, there is a multiplier effect. The energy of hope, conviction, and expectancy magnifies. Prayers are answered in ways that surprise you because you are joined in purpose. In those moments, you taste the reality of the promise. Where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I among them. Community also offers perspective. When you're close to your own struggles, it's easy to lose sight of progress or feel trapped by setbacks. But a friend on the outside can remind you of the distance you've traveled. They recall the timid first steps you took, the moments when you nearly gave up but didn't. They celebrate the person you were, the person you are, and the person you are becoming. Their view from the outside often reveals the beauty you've overlooked in yourself. Conflict, too, can be a catalyst for growth within community. Honest feedback offered with kindness exposes blind spots you might never notice alone. If a friend gently calls you out on impatience or self-criticism, receive it not as judgment but as precious insight. Let it refine you. Let it shape you into someone more aligned with the person you envision becoming. Technology makes community more accessible than ever, but it also brings distraction. Guard your fellowship time with intentionality. When you gather, whether in a living room or a video call, leave aside the noise of the world. Be fully present. Listen as though each word matters, because it does. Share your heart without fear of censure or comparison. In that sacred atmosphere, transformation accelerates. As you lean on community, also remember the power of professional support when needed. Coaches, counselors, and spiritual directors offer trained insight that can guide you past deep-rooted blocks. There is no shame in seeking help. Rather, it is a declaration of self-worth. You are worth the investment of wisdom and care. When you bravely ask for guidance, you open doors you may not even know exist. Children of God, we were created for connection. From the beginning, community has been woven into our story, collective voices, lifting praises, shared feasts, and the intertwining of lives in covenant love. This rhythm of togetherness is in our bones. It is how we were meant to flourish. So do not shrink back from it. Step into the embrace of others. Offer your hand, and take theirs in return. In times of trial, your community becomes a fortress. When sorrow strikes, they carry you in word, in meal, in prayer. When joy breaks forth, they gather to dance and celebrate with you. The breadth of human experience finds its fullest expression in the holding of one another. Your new self will not emerge in isolation. She will blossom in the shared laughter, the shared tears, the shared triumphs of souls journeying side by side. So reach out now, send the message, make the call, open your circle, and commit yourself to the sacred mutuality of support. For in that shared bond, you discover that your strength is multiplied, your vision is affirmed, and your transformation is sealed by the love of those who walk with you. Let us go together. You've acknowledged where you are, envisioned where you long to be, awakened the strength within, mapped out the steps to carry you forward, and enlisted the fellowship of hearts to walk beside you. Now know this, the path you tread is not a sprint, but a marathon of the spirit, one that requires persistence more than perfection. Transformation blossoms over time, nourished by steady commitment and fueled by the resolve to rise again whenever life's winds blow you off course. In the early days of change, enthusiasm carries you. You wake eager, ready for the new habits you've set, delighted by the first sparks of progress. But as weeks pass, novelty fades, and the routine you once embraced can feel heavy. That's when persistence becomes your greatest ally. It is the choice to return each morning to the practice you've committed to, even when motivation wanes. It's the whisper in your soul that says, keep going, when every excuse screams for rest. Real persistence wears many faces. Some days it looks like simply showing up 5 minutes of journaling, a single breath prayed, a brief moment of gratitude under the rising sun. Other days it means refusing to let a stumble become a stall. If you miss your practice at dawn, you find space in the afternoon. If fatigue clings to you, you trim the practice rather than abandon it. Small intentions sustained over time yield more fruit than grand gestures left undone. I remember a woman who longed to deepen her prayer life. She began with a simple goal, 3 minutes of stillness every morning. At first, she felt the thrill of quiet communion. But within a month, her phone's alarm would ring, and her mind would dart to the day's demands, emails to send, children to wake, chores to finish. The 3 minutes became more of a burden than a blessing. Yet she persisted. She set the timer, whispered a short thank you, and allowed herself to breathe, even if her thoughts wandered. Over months, those scattered breaths wove into a tapestry of presence. Her 3 minutes became 5, then 10. And one morning she awoke before the alarm, not out of duty, but out of longing for the stillness that had become the heartbeat of her day. This is the power of persistence. It loves you into becoming. To sustain this love, anchor your commitment in reasons deeper than the fleeting tide of feeling. Recall your vision. When doubt creeps in, why bother? Ask yourself, which version of me do I choose? Let your answer steer you back to the path. And each time you rise after distraction, you sow resilience into your spirit, strengthening the very resolve that had wavered. Mark your journey with rituals that celebrate continuity. Perhaps you light a candle each time you meditate, watching its flame flicker as a reminder of your inner spark. Or maybe you write a single word at the end of each week, a word that encapsulates what you learned, felt, or overcame. These simple rituals become mileposts on your journey, honoring the steady forward motion of your heart. It can help, too, to watch for signs of progress that aren't always dramatic. Sometimes the most profound growth is invisible, like roots digging deeper beneath the soil. You may find yourself reacting less sharply to someone's criticism or pausing before a habitual outburst. You may notice a kinder inner dialogue or a willingness to embrace moments of silence. These subtle shifts are evidence of transformation at work, even when external circumstances appear unchanged. When the road feels long, remember community. Persistence thrives in partnership. Share your weariness with your accountability circle or prayer partners. Let them remind you of the mountain you've already climbed, point you toward the view that awaits, and cheer you on as you take another step. Their encouragement is the wind at your back, strengthening each stride. And allow yourself seasons of renewal. Persistence does not demand unbroken intensity, it honors rest. Just as the land lies fallow to regain fertility, so your spirit needs pauses. Plan them. A quiet day, a morning off, a walk in nature unburdened by goals. These respites replenish your well and prepare you to continue with fresh strength. In fact, a well-timed pause can deepen your commitment, reminding you why you chose this journey in the first place. Setbacks will come, sometimes fleeting, sometimes jarring. Perhaps you lapse into old habits, or life's demands sweep you off your carefully laid course. When this happens, refrain from harsh self-judgment. Persistence is not linear. It is a spiral that circles upward, not a straight line. Each return to practice reshapes your sense of identity. Each step back, when met with loving resolve, becomes a springboard for renewed growth. Forgive yourself swiftly, then recommit with humility and determination. Celebrate your milestones, both great and small. When you've maintained a habit for 30 days, pause to acknowledge its gift, the clarity, the calm, the sense of accomplishment. When a fear you once cringed from now holds less power, give thanks for your bravery. These celebrations infuse your journey with joy and remind you that perseverance is worthy of praise. Begin to tune your awareness to the rhythm of your own transformation. Notice when a day passes without struggle, not because the challenge has vanished, but because you've grown stronger. Observe how the small practices you once wrestled with have become as natural as breathing. Recognize that persistence is the vessel through which your vision is distilled into reality. Keep reminding yourself that the person you are becoming resides not in some distant year, but is already emerging in this very moment. Each act of persistence is a vote cast for that future self. And like every vote in a democracy, it matters. Your consistency is a declaration to your soul: I matter. My growth matters. My dreams matter. As you continue, let gratitude fertilize your persistence. Each morning, thank yourself for choosing to return. Each evening, offer gratitude for the ways you showed up, even imperfectly. Gratitude is the gentle alchemy that transforms effort into joy and duty into delight. Now, imagine looking back from a year hence. See the person you are today, full of intention and hope, and the person you have become, more centered, more vibrant, more aligned with the vision you first painted. Feel the pride that wells up as you trace the path you trod, aware that every step, every morning you rose, every small choice you made, led you here. You don't need perfection. You need persistence. And persistence fueled by faith, hope, and love will carry you beyond the limits you once knew. So with determination in your heart, let us press on, one day, one moment, one breath at a time.